welcome back or welcome to the Limitless Stories podcast. And today I have the pleasure of having Storm in the building. That's
Hey,
my
thank you,
friend,
brother.
that's my dog. Storm is an artist from Vancouver, but he's an emerging artist from Guyanese descent, and he was raised by a strong and independent mom who introduced him to the rhythms of soccer and calypso. Shout out to soccer and
Hey,
calypso music, as well as R&B sounds that influence his music. Man, I've heard Storm's music personally, and I'm a big fan, so I'm really
oh,
honored to
thank you, bro.
have him. And today we're gonna dive deep into his journey from growing up in Toronto to kind of having his way now in Vancouver, and just his overall thoughts on mindfulness, fitness, and relationships, which are the themes for the show. And with that, I'm super excited to have you, Storm, bro. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing well, bro. I'm doing well. How you doing?
Yeah, bro, I'm chilling, bro. Appreciate you for coming through. You know,
Thanks.
you're a busy man, always doing your shows.
You
So,
know, we try to stay busy, bro. Better to be busy than bored, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I'm busy. They say an idle mind is the devil's workshop, but I tend to think being overly busy sometimes is also a coping mechanism to just not facing
Yeah,
your shit.
yeah.
So yeah, let's dive into it, bro. You told me off the record how you and your moms are really close, and
hmm
you mentioned how your mom introduced you to like soccer, calypso, and R&B. How do you feel like this early musical influences shape your current identity and like the messages that you portray in your music today?
Honestly, I feel like that was huge because without it, like I would probably be like every other like ignorant artist, like not to say like there's not a place for ignorance, but like I don't shoot people, I don't run around doing that kind of stuff. So like for me
Mm-hmm.
to talk about that, it just, it wouldn't be real. And I feel like nowadays in music, a lot of people really write about what they think is cool rather than what's real to them. So it's all a balance to me, but I'm really appreciative of the fact that like, growing up with different sounds like that from, like Marshall Montana to, I mean, Marshall, everybody in the street's gonna, they gonna call me something because I just butchered that name. But from that to MJ to, Sade to Mia, bro, it really just, it brought out everything in me, and now I can really just step into different clubs, it feels like, and perform for different audiences like we were kind of talking about off camera, because
Mm-hmm.
one, I know I can read the room, but two, I have that catalog that can appeal to, the different demographics.
Right, right. So that's really dope, bro. I think it's so important to stay grounded in your roots, what you learned as a kid, and stay true to who you are, your identity, and your environment shapes a big part of that. You mentioned something about how artists nowadays tend to go towards what's cool rather than what they actually experienced. My question is like, when you're trying to balance all that and then come with a catalog that's so diverse, how does that impact your relationship with your fans, like in a room when you get into like a room and then you see, okay, what type of vibe am I gonna give out here?
Sometimes it's kind of tough. For lack of a better way to put it, it allows me to be like a chameleon. Like I could go into rooms and kind of, do my thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if you see me, I'm a pretty calm person, but like if we're in a show setting, and I've been sipping, like the energy's up there. So like it kind of goes, off of the energy that they bring to the event. Because if they want to see a show that's high energy, I'm feeding
Yeah.
off of them. And if they want to see a low energy show, then they're just standing around staring at me. Like I'm gonna let them, chill, vibe out. But
I feel
that's it's just it's up to
I
them
feel
completely.
I feel you on that, bro, but like having that chameleon strategy, like I think the difficulty is in balancing that at baseline.
Mm,
Where are your storm? When everything is shut down before a show, baseline, are
yeah.
you more of like a hype show type vibe or a chill show type vibe? Which one do
No,
you resonate with?
I'm very to myself. Like I'm very like locked in. Like I'm not really talking too much. Oftentimes I might even just be off, like in a corner, like off away from everybody else. Cause
Mm-hmm.
I do like, like my friends to have their energy, and like be up. But for me, I gotta make sure that like I'm on point so I can do what I want to do on stage, from crowd control, like making sure that I know exactly when I want to talk to crowds and when to stop certain songs. And also just remembering lyrics because like the hardest thing I feel like people forget is for artists that are constantly recording new music to
Hmm.
perform old music that it might not even be that old, but like 4 years ago, something like that stuff kind of gets blurred and blended together. So to
Yeah.
recall that on stage, like we do rehearsals and whatnot, but still, it's not the same. Like you can't remember every single word, so you gotta find ways to like manipulate the crowd into not noticing that. It's almost like a magician.
I've never actually thought about it like that because, like, if you're constantly dropping, like, bro, 4 years ago, bro, I can't keep track.
Trust.
But like, let's take it before the show, right? Like, what are some of your pre-show rituals that make you stay locked in, stay mindful? And you mentioned sipping. Are you somebody who sips through the show, or it's more like I just want to perform and sober, and then I'm a sip after? Like, so this is
So
this is a two-part question where it's like pre-show rituals and then like the sipping and staying present during the show.
yeah, so pre-show, honestly, I like to be like just really to myself. Like I don't really like to be talking too much. Like oftentimes, like I just be watching like just Dragon Ball Z, like just reruns, just so like
My boy say, well, shout out to the Anime Nation fam. Shout out to
Trust,
y'all.
trust. But yeah, I'm usually watching something like that, and then from there, like that's when I might get into like just a mixed drink, like like some vodka, something like that, something that's easy to
So
hide the flavor. Because I really do not like to drink at all, bro. Like that shit is disgusting to me. But like there's certain there's certain energy that comes with that I don't really bring out unless I'm sipping, like so. With that being said, yeah, I might sip a little bit and then but after that, like it's just, you know, go through the lyrics, put the lyrics in my AirPods and listen to it on the way to the venue. And then I'm
right,
just really just like if you look at me, it looks like I'm talking to myself, but I'm just going through the lyrics, making sure that I remember the song. And then from there, that's when I'll go and like, talk to people, check the vibe, like make sure like, they're doing well, whatnot, and then just show face a little bit and then probably like 10 minutes or so before I gotta perform, that's right back to locking in again. It's like stepping off to the side, nobody's really like around me, like they know to just kind of, let me do my thing. And
right,
then from there, bro, it's just up. Like, so I'm not really drinking when I'm on stage or anything like that. Like, there's been times I've had like, a shot while performing for like somebody in the crowd, but like
right,
shit, bro. Like it's just, again, back to what I was saying before, it's feeling the energy. Like
right.
at the end of the day, I'm up there being an entertainer. It's not just about the music. So as much as I want people to hear new music, I
Hmm.
gotta like a thing about me that I know that people not are not gonna remember what I said to them, but they're always gonna
Hmm.
remember how I made them feel. So like if bro, you go past your favorite artist a shot and they take that, it's gonna feel like you guys really connected, and they're always gonna remember that. That's what I try to bring to every single show.
I love that. I love that, bro. More of like a curation of experiences rather than just I came out here to perform and it's all
Yeah,
about me. So it's like feeding off the energy of the crowd, relating to the crowd. I love that, bro.
yeah, bro. Because one thing for me is like even though like I may have a talent that not everybody has, even though
Hmm.
nowadays it seems like it's just like it's a talent that the world like a lot of people in the world put on a pedestal, but like there's people out there that can build a computer, and just because like that's not something people want to see on stage doesn't mean that's not cool. So it's like I'm just a human, just like everybody else. So why, just because I'm on a stage, it's like don't treat me like, you know? But some people come into that setting that are like, oh yeah, 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 it's me.
Why I wanna double down on that. You raised a good question where it's like, the industry that you're in is kind of put on a pedestal based on like how society views it. Why do you think that's the case? Why do you think entertainment takes precedence over things like computer building?
Honestly, because entertainment allows people to escape reality. So with that being said, it allows them to be someone if they well, a lot of times and like don't get me wrong, because like this is something that a lot of people battle with. Like it's not easy to figure out, but like a lot of people don't know who they are. So in turn, looking at your favorite entertainer, like they might be acting one day, playing a character, but people forget that that's a character. So they're like, this person's so cool, and it goes full circle. They're like, oh, let me be like this. So because people building computers or, teaching people things, they're not looked at, like, oh, I want to be like that person, because at the end of the day, like how many people have the attention span to listen to the person who's actually, teaching people something, but they have the
Right.
attention span to go and scroll through what the entertainer's doing, So that's the best way I
Man,
could explain it.
that's actually such a dope way to frame it, and I've never thought about it that way because I think you mentioned a key thing, the relatability of the entertainer.
Hmm.
Like an entertainer, if you look from an outside perspective, it's like he goes out, man, I could go out.
Yeah,
He dresses
yeah,
this way, man, I could dress this way. But not
exactly.
everybody can write code and like build a
Hmm.
supercomputer because that, as you said, the attention span and the complexity of the talent is different,
Yeah.
right? Even though music, I feel like music it's its own talent. Don't get it twisted. I feel like people have to be able to rhyme and come up with the schemes and like
Hmm.
the flow, the cadence, the aura, bro. That listen, there's a reason why you can do it and I can't do it. I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick to the mic, but I'm gonna stick to the mic just for talking. I ain't got no beats. I ain't got none of that. I'm just chilling at the crib with the mic on. I truly, I truly. So don't get it twisted. I think music has its own side of complexity, but I think the entertainment aspect has always been a fascination for me because of, I think if I dig deeper right now as I'm talking to you, it's the escape from reality. That was
Yeah,
a, you nailed it on the head, bro. Because
yeah.
as you said, not a lot of people are willing to face those demons,
Hmm.
and I always try to encourage people to like really look inside because that's when you can always truly connect with yourself and those around you. So
100%.
even for your shows, bro, like if you're not connected to yourself, the fans are not gonna connect to you,
Hmm.
right? So in that on that note, I want to take it back to Toronto.
Hmm.
My assumption is you grew up there and you seen a whole lot growing up, and
Hmm.
I'm just curious, like, what was the moment that you realized music was your lifeline out of the life?
Well, so honestly, I like to say like you don't have to make the mistake to learn from it. So for me, like I'm the youngest of three siblings,
Mhm.
and my older brother, like he moved from Guyana to Toronto. He was the first one, doing his thing. And like with that being said, like he kind of created a lot of problems. So like with me coming out, like I'm hanging around a lot of young brothers of, the people that he's hanging around. And, that's not, he's around company that he shouldn't even be keeping. And
Mhm.
so, that sets me up for something totally different. So, with that being said, like a couple things would happen, like just like over here, we would be like, oh, no, that's not something to freak out over. But like my mom coming from Guyana, she's like, I'm coming to Canada now. I don't really know too much about what's going on, but I know what's dangerous and what's not. So for her to be stepping out to work and whatnot, and then him to be babysitting me, coming home to smoke in the house, and I'm young at this time because I left Toronto when I was 6 years old. So picture like young, young me running around the house, seeing people smoking,
Hold
drinking,
up,
all this stuff.
were you born in Ghana and then moved to Toronto, or you were born in
Nah,
Toronto?
nah, born in Toronto. And then after that first 6 years, I moved to the city that's about an hour, 30 minutes north of there, called Barrie.
Right,
And that's
very.
where I stayed till 21 years old, bro. Because
Mhm.
that city, if if you're familiar with Ontario, for like the people that are listening, they know
Mhm.
nothing goes on over there. Like you don't want to go over there because like it's nothing going on. You're surrounded by like farms and stuff, bro. So people come like
Right.
they consider it almost like a country city, but if you go into it, it's like it's not at all. It's like a commuter city. So a
What
lot of
what's the
people,
what's the demographic? Is it mostly immigrants or it's mostly like just
bro, so that's the thing. It's mostly white people there. So like like
I ain't want to say you said it. I ain't want to say
yeah,
you said it. I ain't
bro.
want to say you said it.
That's why I need that media training.
Hey man, listen. Hey, this listen. And we gonna have this conversation again a later date. You now you know. Now you know. Okay.
But
But
yeah, bro. So media trained answer would be there's not a lot of culture over there, bro. So,
yo, you just had a double bag, bro.
yeah, because when I said it the first time, I was like, wait a
Wait
minute.
a minute.
Yeah,
This don't sound professional.
not at all, bro. They gonna come for
Yeah.
me.
Nah, shout out to the people in Barry. We love y'all. It's all
Yeah,
love.
nothing but love, nothing but
Nothing but
love.
love.
But yeah, bro, it's not a lot of culture over there. So with that being said, it's safe, but it's different because for the people that live there, that's all they really know. So
Right.
for me, like growing up, elementary school, high school, like I'm one of like two handfuls of black kids in the whole school. And like so with that being said, it's kind of like you don't you don't really talk to people too much about what's going on because they can't really relate to what, like the same things. Like it's conversations you can't have inside a mixed company. But like
Right.
you in turn it's like you either bottle it up or, thankfully for me I was able to find a way to vent like through music because one like the biggest thing was my mom was always working, and like I could like now I could reach out to my dad and talk to him, but at the time, like, I was so young, like we didn't really have the best relationship growing up, so that was out of the question for me. So in turn, like, how do I get things off my chest? Like I would be listening to music all the time, but I never thought about writing it. And then one of my boys actually, he lived two doors over, which is crazy, but his dad would be rapping and like so he kind of inspired him to like write music. And then every day I would go over there, he's like, yo, listen to what I just wrote. And one day I just left his house and I just started rapping like on a little like short walk back to my house. And then after that, got into the house, opened the door, and like right inside of my door, like right here, there's a mirror. I looked in it and I was just like rapping just for like a couple minutes actually. And then after that, I was like, okay, like this is a way to get whatever I'm thinking out. So from there, it just became an addiction,
Bro,
bro.
you know what's funny? You answered the question I was gonna ask you right next because I was
Yeah,
gonna ask you when was your first studio session, but I think that answered it. Like
yeah, bro.
low key, that was like a studio sesh. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
honestly, like, yeah, you could say, bro, because like that's really where it started. Like, even though I can't go back and like pull up though, that is definitely where it started because then I started using my school like notebooks and like
Hmm.
it's bad. Like, you should be focused on your schoolwork, but I would be writing when I should be doing homework, filling those books up, and it became like a goal and like a mission for me to like fill as many of those books as I could up with just lyrics. And I don't know why I wanted to do that.
So take me through that process, that creative process at that young age. Like,
Mm,
how are you leveraging this school book notes and what are you writing about? Because now as you mentioned earlier, you have a relationship with your mom, but you don't have a relationship with your dad to
yeah,
the level that you have right now. In those moments, like what sort of material are you coming up with to hone your skill set as you develop?
bro. That's why, like what I said earlier about artists writing about what's cool to them. That's
Hmm.
why I spoke about that because like that was real for me. Like I started writing music when I was like 13 years old, So at
Hmm.
that point in time, what do you haven't experienced too much. Like, yeah, you might have like this and that, things that like might kind of traumatize you, but you don't know how to comprehend it. You don't know, you don't really even know how you
There's
feel.
no
So
word, yeah, there's no like structural words to articulate yourself at that
yeah,
age.
yeah.
Right.
So like with that being said, I was just writing off of what I was listening to. And like at that time, it was a lot of like Drake and Lil Wayne. So I would just be writing words, trying to make metaphors and similes and, just practicing wordplay until I got like
Right.
really nice at that. But I feel like that was essential because now it's like, it feels like it's kind of like second nature, like you get your reps in the gym.
Hmm.
After you do it, it's muscle memory. So doing that, like it did help, even though I was writing stuff that was just considered cool to me. All those songs, like it was just practice. And then in turn, like as I grew up and started to experience things and like my brain really started to develop, it was
Mm-hmm.
different conversations I would have with people. Like one of my boys, actually, Adrian, he told
Mm-hmm.
me, he's like, right from the heart, like, I know you can rhyme. Everybody, like everybody can rhyme words, but like everybody has a story, and your story is unique from everybody else's, same with yours.
Mm-hmm.
So go and tell that story. And
Right.
after I heard that, I was like, okay, like I don't know how to write from the heart, like like just hearing that, you're like, what the fuck, bro? Like, but after that, I was like, okay, I get it now. It took some
Right.
time, but
Yeah, and as you said, it's reps, it's the determination, the hunger, the desire to get better.
hmm
Because I'm pretty sure as you've evolved from that 13-year-old boy who was just writing rhymes for fun, now you can articulate your emotional traumas or experiences that you've seen over the years in a very fluid way, to a point
hmm
where you can, you can curate an album, or you can, I don't think people understand, bro. Making a fucking album is not
yeah,
easy, bro. Like,
exactly. Especially
everybody can make a
nowadays,
single, bro, but like an album, a cohesive work of art,
yeah,
bro.
something that's actually telling a story start to finish. But
Hmm.
also, bro, that's the hardest thing these days is like with creating an album, it's tough because in the back of your head, you're always like, with attention spans, are people really listening to it from start to finish? Like unless unless you're Drake, bro, like even then, I still don't think people listen to the album start to finish. Like they probably go through TikTok, look for the most trending ones, and then go and click on that song. So, with that being said, how do you even portray a story as an artist if, like people might only get half the story? It's like
Right.
that's something that like is always in my head. So like now, even though like it's easier for me to tell stories. I'm always challenging myself because I'm trying to find a way to tell the story in a shorter, like, because EPs are really the way to go now. Like people will listen to 10 minutes or something because they want to hear different beats, something that they could listen to a lot of times in the background or whatever. But if they actually really
Let
lock in, you know?
Storm, let me pause you there for a sec, because there's something you touched on that I actually wanted to ask you, and this was something I was thinking when I was working today. It's around the social media, AI field of play, where
Mm,
you mentioned how people are gonna look for the trendy song on TikTok, and boom, that's the one that goes. It's a single, it blows, but people don't necessarily go back to listen to the full story. As an
yeah.
artist, when you're trying to put out a story to impact the lives of people, because I'm assuming you want your music to shift the mentality and ways of thinking. How
hmm
do you like protect your creative energy from like the industry's social media gimmick and AI, which is kind of disrupting the creative process of musicians?
Honestly, for the longest time, like I tried to just avoid it like completely. I tried to act like it didn't exist. So like I didn't really like make content because I didn't want to like even like have the social media like accounts that I needed to post the content. Like, and what I mean by that is like I didn't even want to have like a TikTok, for instance, because I know I would just start consuming all that. And with that being said, like how people advertise now, it's all like, okay, it's like, how can we get this person's attention and to get them to listen to the song? But it's not even genuine nowadays. It's like in the past, like the baby, for instance, he would wear a diaper and run around, bro. Like that was his gimmick, and then that's how he got on. And that might have been when it started, bro. And like that was years ago. But now it's evolved into like, unless you thirst trapping or something, bro, like you're not getting on. And like that's one of the most frustrating things is like, how do you stay true to yourself in an industry that wants you to, to really not be yourself? And like,
I don't think that's just like music industry. I think that's society in general. I think
mm,
I think we're in a time frame where everything is algorithmic. Like
Yeah.
the way we dress, everyone dresses the same. Everyone,
Mhm.
you scroll Instagram, there's an aesthetic that is
Yeah.
everywhere. Both like females and males, like it goes both
Mhm.
ways. So I think
Yeah.
for me personally, I believe authenticity will always trounce all this other shit because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, when you stay true to yourself, you're not attracting people based off what you can do. You're attracting people based on who you are. And there's
Yeah.
nothing that beats a connection that is formed from the heart, where it's like
Mhm.
sometimes I give this example all the time. When you listen to music, because music is art, it comes from the heart. When you listen to music that is made from Turkey or made in
Mhm.
Singapore, made in New Zealand, and it talks to you in a very weird way that you understand it, even though you don't know the language, you still fuck with the music.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where the artist is from. It's like if my soul feels like I want to dance to this song, I'm gonna dance to this song. And a lot of that has to do with the beat, but the beat was made by a human being somewhere and then the artist comes into play. So it's like a
Yeah.
combination of two humans connecting to make an art that allows you to connect to that thing, right?
Mhm.
So I think essentially when I battle with this whole concept of like, man, how am I gonna separate myself? You don't have to separate yourself. The right people will just come to you, right?
Hmm.
And
Excuse me.
it's okay to kind of think from that abundance mindset because we're kind of programmed to think that everything is kind of limited now, but it's truly not. It's truly not. You just gotta put in the work and you gotta believe in yourself so that you can find the people who actually appreciate your art. And I think that's, for me, that's how I kind of look at it.
Yeah. And that honestly, like back to like your whole social media question, like I feel like it takes like you being authentic to really go and post and like you said, attract like the people that are authentic. But for that, it's like how am I trying to say this? Like you need that to collaborate, in my opinion, because I personally I can't get into a studio with somebody that has a different energy that's not, like it's like I can't just do the song because I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a song that I feel like people are gonna listen to. Like if we're not on the same energy, I can't really even be around you, you know? So like with that
Right.
being said, like now when I post, like I don't really even think about like numbers or likes or anything like that because I know like people are gonna keep watching, but a lot of times like the people that are watching you, like they might not be liking or commenting just out of something that they don't know about themselves. So they won't support you on your journey, but they're gonna continue to watch. So like end of the day, it's just like the social media world is just, just do what you got to do because like people aren't gonna support you, bro. Like at the end of the day, until you're on,
Bro, I,
and you can't just run around mad at the world for that.
let me tell you some shit that switched my whole thinking or perspective about socials. Was I personally try to engage with socials in a very different way, but
Hmm.
somebody told me once, it's like when you scroll through, let's say, clothing store and you see a fit that
Yeah.
you like, sometimes you might not even like that fit pic, or
Hmm.
you might not like the picture, but you like the fucking t-shirt that you saw. I'm
Hmm.
gonna exit Instagram and I'm gonna go to the website and I'm gonna purchase that t-shirt.
Yeah.
I didn't like the photo, but I
Hmm.
purchased the t-shirt. And that's how
Yeah.
I flipped my mentality with social media because I was like, they might not like it, but they'll
Hmm.
consume it.
Yeah.
Because at
Yeah.
the end of the
And that's
day,
important.
at the end of the day, you got to remember there's a lot more consumers than producers. So
Yeah.
the simple fact that you're producing something makes you, it tears you into a different category, like in
Hmm.
terms of like
Yeah.
production and consumption. And that's not to say that everybody who produces is great, but it's just to say that if you're producing, keep producing because you don't know the scalability of your production is it's exponential. You're literally in an
Yeah.
open world marketplace. So like
Hmm.
once I kind of figured that shit, once I was told that, I was like, wait a fucking minute, that makes a lot of sense. Because I went back and looked at
Yeah.
my personal habits, and I'm like, sometimes I might not like something, but I mess with it. So it's like
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not different. He's not different. She's not different. They're just doing everything that we're doing. The the the
Hmm.
the thing with social media is it shifted from being like a me and Storm can connect and have a conversation to more of like branding. And people have to
Yeah.
accept and move on from that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't know. That's just my overall thought process with it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Cause yeah, bro, like to what you just said, like imagine if you didn't continue doing your thing because you didn't get 2 likes on a post, like that. And like the first time you post anything, that's more than likely gonna happen. So like you can't get that validation or like seek that validation from outside sources, bro. You gotta just know it's you and just do your thing.
right, you can't get discouraged, bro. You can't get
Mm-mm.
discouraged, bro. And this goes to like the next big thing with music too, like, streaming, like music streams, how
Yeah.
artists are getting paid nowadays. What's your thought process on like streaming versus being independent? Like what do you prefer, or what have you seen that has worked for artists versus in terms of streaming and versus being independent? Now that you're
Honestly,
actually in the game.
like, bro, when I look at it, like I would honestly tell everybody, like I hear it everywhere. I feel like everybody should know it, but never sign to a major label because end of the day, like you're always going to be like a puppet. Like you're Pinocchio, bro. Like if they want to keep you in like a
Pinocchio is
chokehold
crazy.
financially,
Pinocchio is crazy.
if they want to keep you in a chokehold, like financially, like they can. And like just think like there's so many ways they can do it too. Just with reaching out to somebody for a feature. Like that other label, your label talks. Next, you don't really know what's going on, how much money's being spent, but you know like
Hmm.
that money has to be recouped. And like where does it come from? Your streams. And that's why so many artists are talking about, oh, they don't make money off of streams. And like rightfully so, like your label's job is to make you the biggest product and make their
Right.
money. Like they don't care about your pockets. Like, so for people that are like, oh, like I signed this, I'm sad that I got a song with Drake. I'm not making money. I got a song with Lotto. I got a song. It's like your song is known now. People know you, but that's how you could still be broke potentially without, like with that notoriety. Because bro, like the world is so messed up. Like if you stay independent, obviously all that money's coming to you. But think about it as like selling selling anything. There's tax on everything. And
Right.
with that being said, like imagine you keep selling a bunch of music and nobody's taxing you. Somebody eventually is gonna be like, "Oh, there's money out there that I'm not taking advantage of. Like, let me go and dip my hands in that." And that's when you see a lot of messed up stuff going on in the industry because, who's to stop? Somebody that is on the come up, they can't stop somebody who's already established from doing what they want to do. And that's
Right.
how you see so many messed up situations with these artists.
Man, like I wish like artists would stick to being independent long term if
Hmm.
the capability of earning marketing, because sometimes you need that initial bread, that investment, somebody to believe in you to kind
Yeah.
of put your music out there. But that's where the personal branding of what social media can do for you
Hmm.
essentially could literally fundamentally shift your life if you kind of lock out a little bit.
Especially nowadays, like nowadays it's so much easier for people to stay independent, but I feel like a lot of people mess up because they want money fast. And like, that's just human nature. Everybody wants to get it fast. So in turn, like something that's already inevitable, they go and, jeopardize it by, letting somebody tax them. So like they're on the way up. They already have the formula. They got,
My boy,
all their
you
content.
gonna get you gonna get Sierra on this part. Come on, stop now. You better stop. Y'all don't want to pay tax. Y'all don't want to pay tax. Yeah. Well, but like, where's the balance, Storm? Like, where's the balance? Where do you kind of believe in the dream and the long term goal versus, man, let me get taxed a little bit, but I'm eating right now. Like,
Yeah.
where's that balance?
Well, for me, like I understand like everybody's got to eat and like it can't ever be like a greed thing. So like for me, like I was saying initially, like I don't have to make the mistake to learn from it. So just
Hmm.
seeing everything, especially nowadays, like you can see it everywhere. So seeing that and learning from it, that's something that like I keep in mind constantly, but I also know that like there's resources that I need to get to where I want to be. And like
Right.
to use those resources, like you got to sign some certain things off. But my thing is like always keep in mind that like a long-term deal is something that you got to stay away from because you never know what could happen tomorrow, years from now. And like if God forbid something happened to me, I don't want to leave my family with, like some kind of, something that they have to work their way out of. I also, I know that with signing to certain things, like you could put yourself in a situation that like if something does happen to you, you can make sure that your family's taken care of through that. Yeah,
Man, you touching on some real conversations. Like
yeah, bro.
life insurance type vibe.
For real.
Like I heard dirty plays about that, but I'm a let that off the record. I'm
Well,
not trying to.
that's another
I'm
thing
not,
too. Like you really got to be
yeah.
careful with what you talk about in your music too, because there's a reason why a lot of artists that talk about like degeneracy are the ones that are being promoted because they're here today, they're gone tomorrow. So like with what we just said about life insurance, these labels like low key are putting life insurance on these artists, not hoping, I hope, but knowing that they're in situations that that insurance may come, it might come into play. And then next thing you know, you got somebody eating even more because you live a life that is, it's not really a life that you should be living.
And it goes, bro, I love that. I love the way you broke that down because it goes back to like doing music based on what's cool and what is like out there versus doing what's authentic to you. Then you find a situation of like Dirk and Youngboy, where it's like the
Yeah.
labels are promoting their music, but at the end of the day, these two black men end up like just fucking up their families.
Do they
Like
really want what's best for their clients? And
I'm gonna say stay independent, bro. Like,
it's a
uh,
must. It's a must.
yeah. But yeah,
Especially
I'm gonna
like
segue.
well, actually, no, I'm not even going to touch on that. Go on. You're gonna
I'm
say,
a I'm a segue to
yeah,
touring, studio sessions, and industry BS. We gonna leave that
yeah.
other. We gonna leave out that shit. Like I know you're a big fitness guy, and me and you kind of go back and forth about the gym thing, and we're talking
Mhm.
about how you want to like summer's coming up, you're trying to stay healthy. In the industry of like performing at night, touring. Sometimes studio sessions go all night. How do you kind of like maintain your recovery rituals to avoid burnout, like so that you don't like
Bro,
feel yourself down?
it's honestly easier said than done. I like to go and like have like one of the hardest workouts that, like I can ever have and then come home and
Yeah,
then just have a nap, at least for like an hour, 2 hours. And like I need that
yeah.
because if not, I'm mad as hell all day. Like it doesn't matter what, like I just need that nap. And as long as I
Mhm.
get that, then I feel like I can continue to function.
Mhm.
Like we talk about training and whatnot and nutrition, but I feel like people forget that like sleep is essential for recovery. And like I don't know what it is, but like there's certain things after that workout that I feel like I can't function unless I get that nap. And then after that I can get back, lock in and and do what I need to do. But that's it's just a part of my day, bro. Like if I don't wake up and get that workout in, I probably won't get
Mhm.
it in because the later the day goes on, I just feel like
Right.
things are pulling me this way and that way that I just don't want to do it
Mm.
anymore. Or if I'm in there, I'm
Right.
not going nearly as hard as I want to. And then I'm like, I get
Mhm.
home and I'm beating myself up, that's a problem in itself. Some people say it's good enough to get in there, but if I don't really feel like I challenge myself,
Mhm.
it's like, what was the point? It's wasted time.
Right. Right. And I love that, bro. You touched on sleep, bro. I read this book by Matthew Walker. I always encourage anybody who's big on sleep to read that because once you come to understand the superpower of what sleep offers for your life, you will
Hmm.
fundamentally shift your schedule to accommodate sleep because
Hmm.
what it does for your brain, for your body, for your energy levels, some you don't even need coffee. All this artificial boosters that we try to
Yeah.
segue into is all because of a poor sleeping schedule.
Yeah.
And the moment you tap into that natural, they call it like once you time your circadian rhythm to be in line with like sunset and sunrise,
Hmm.
trust me. And once you take off alcohol of the picture or weed, bro, like the moment you start sleeping like organically, you will fundamentally see a shift in your productivity, creativity, everything. Everything
Hmm.
is so in touch with sleep that I just think it's super important and not a lot of people are aware.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of things that do affect like our what is it? The REM, our REM. So if
Right.
we can't get into our REM cycle, you know, then
Mm-hmm.
is that sleep really like helping you recover? And like, I know you can't stay in REM the whole night, but I think it's just you want to stay in that as long as possible so that you can really rejuvenate for the next day.
RAM is actually more in tune with memory.
Oh,
So
REM. Okay, okay.
yeah, RAM is more in tune with like memory rejuvenation. That's what kind of keeps your, it kind of flashes your brain to create space for new memories. Because
Mm,
think about it, our brain is like a photo, it's like a camera. Like we look and experience so many things from childhood to today, but then there's certain things that we don't remember like at all,
mm,
but then there's
yeah.
certain things that we remember. So that's how important sleep is. So the more you get your sleep in and the more you get into that REM stage, the more you kind of have that photographic memory as they call
Mm,
it. Yeah.
yeah, to retain
So
everything.
retain it, bro. I'm big on that. Like if you really want to learn some more, check out that book. It's called
Yeah,
Sleep by Matthew Walker. That nigga got to pay me because the way I put him on,
bro. Yeah.
I need my royalties, bro, because the way I be putting bro, the way I be putting him on, bro, like, come on, man, stop playing with me.
I'm gonna check that book out for sure, bro.
Yeah, check it out. Let me know, and then we can have a
Mm.
discussion on sleep. But my next question is kind of like when you think of your music and the city that you're in right now, Vancouver. What's your overall like experience with like your personal style and how the city embraces your music?
Honestly, bro, like this city is very easy to stand out in because there are artists everywhere, but
Hmm.
there's not artists that really there's not too many melodic artists. And like
No.
there's probably like a handful, and those are the in my opinion, like I'm kind of biased, but those are the nicest artists. And like I said, there's only a handful. So like with that being said, it's very easy to stand out here. But you
Hmm.
go to Toronto, and there's a lot of melodic artists, and there's also a lot of nice artists over there too. So that being said, like I also like this is kind of like it's anyways like in this city, it's a lot easier to book shows as opposed to Toronto because over there, you really need to be established. You need to have like love, you know, for people to like
Mm.
take that chance on you. Here, it's
Right.
almost like it's like a lack of a better way to put it. It's like a indie city, you know, like people want to see who's coming up next. They want to be like, okay, I have an artist from this city and like back that artist. Toronto doesn't really have that, and I want to say it's mainly because of a lot of immigration and whatnot. People looking at each other, being like, "Oh, we're better," this, that, and that. But here, it's more like, okay, we want to have an artist that we can back, and like, there's a couple people that are already on their way out, like with Manila Gray, Paris.
Oh, shout out to Manila Gray.
Yeah, yeah,
I met,
Tion Gibbs.
met, yeah, I met them guys. Yeah, that's what's up. But uh, Storm, before you keep going, I think the question that I have in my head, why is it then that you feel this is a very refreshing perspective. You're the first person who's come on here and said, I actually prefer the city here in terms of like what
Hmm.
I do. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people come on here, and I'm not trying to put no names on no bullet, but a lot of I'm one of those people sometimes. We tend to like, and even as I'll touch base on it, like a lot of people come in and they say, no, Vancouver is just not the place, yada yada yada. I
Mm.
like the script that you just pulled right now because I have never looked at it from that perspective. But my question back to you would be, why is it that even though we have so much support for the up and coming local artists, why are they not going beyond the walls of Vancouver? Why is it that it stays in here?
I feel like it's also because Vancouver, it's a very like cliquey city, so people want to be like, oh, this is my artist.
You just reverted back to the norm.
you
I
know,
thought you were going to do something. You just
like it's nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's like they want to say like they want to have an artist, but they want to say it's my artist, like and like even my friends, some of them are like that. Like they like will move around, and like people will be like, your music is so much better than this person's music, but they're telling you that. They're not telling the outside world that. And if we had more of
right.
people moving like that around Vancouver, bro, then people will be out of here. But it's kind of like, it's like each artist has a bubble, and it's like
Mm,
for us to really get like to that next step, we kind of all gotta blend those bubbles. Honestly, like as weird as that sounds, and then we can pop. But I don't
right,
know.
right. I
It
like
takes
I
too
like
many.
that I like that point of view where you said they'll come and tell you you're doing good, but they won't tell the world. And I'm experiencing that firsthand where it's like, oh bro, you should keep doing your part, but they ain't never
Mm,
putting it on. So it's
yeah,
like, oh shit,
yeah,
like
yeah.
but
What can you
then I
do?
kind of, yeah, what can you do, man? I think at the end of the day, you just take it as feedback, and sometimes maybe this. I think your environment is a huge
Yeah.
factor of how much you can accomplish within your talent or your skill, because
Mm,
you can only go as far as the environment allows you to. And sometimes that
yeah.
environment is you outgrow certain environments, right?
Hmm.
So not to shit on the city, but I think that what you said is spot on. Like if more people could be more outsource the talent and put it out there, then people could be taking off for sure.
But with
So
that being said, like I feel like the artists are starting to figure it out now, where like all of us
mhm,
are starting to reach out outside of Vancouver and really outside of Canada because people have this weird like conception that like Canadians are just soft, like that, even though all of us that are making melodic music, we don't. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I don't shoot people. I don't think they shoot people, so we're not talking about that. But like, even with that being said, people won't like listen to our music and expect us not to talk about that. Like, they want us to be, like criminals or something, bro. And I don't move like that. So like,
nah,
it's
stay true to yourself, bro. There's enough people who actually glorify or romanticize that lifestyle, but they don't actually live that lifestyle.
yeah.
So
And that's the
I,
craziest part to me. Because bro,
it's
how you
it's
gonna say you're in the
it's
street but not be in the street?
listen,
Crazy.
sometimes it's just fun in the moment when you're a little turned up and you're just trying to have a good time. You entertainment. That's what y'all do. You entertain. You
But don't
provide the
let that leave the
playbook.
studio, bro. Don't let that
Don't
leave
but
the studio. Listen
man,
to it on your
that's
own time,
crazy.
bro.
Bro, like the industry that you the
One of the
industry
last
that you're
things I wanted to
in.
say, bro, is like because
Yeah.
people don't really think about it too much, but with artists, like you're influencing somebody, like even though if you don't know it, so like you gotta be careful what you say and like don't be influencing some kid that would be otherwise innocent to go and do some shit that you're not even doing. Even if you are doing it, don't influence them to do that either.
I mean, I'm all for living your truth, positive or negative. Like at the end of the day, there's always going to be two sides of the coin. Whether you rap about love and you rap about relationships, there's always going to be somebody who's rapping about guns and all this murder
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like at the end of the day, that's just how the world works, and it
Yin
takes
and yang.
yeah, it might never be fixed even in our lifetime, At the end of the day, you just, and then that's why it's so important to be authentic, because the people who actually resonate with your shit will always gravitate towards you. And then when the
Yeah,
other people who resonate with the other shit, then it is what it is. You can't take them all. You know what I mean?
that's fact.
But your industry, bro, like the music industry is big on, like, building authentic relationships and loyalty. But I feel like, you having that strong relationship with your mother laid the foundation of like good community and good loyal relationships. Like, what's one lesson
Hmm.
about loyalty that the industry keeps testing?
Honestly, it's everybody, like, the more you grow, people want to work with you, you know? And like with that being said, it's people saying you need a better this, you need a better that, you need a better this. And it's oftentimes people forget like patience is the biggest thing for me in this, but also like if I don't stay loyal to the ones that help me get to where I am right now, what happens if I go switch up, work with this person, I go fall off or something, God forbid, and then, I can't go and create anymore because I burned this bridge with the ones that helped me get to where I want to be. So in turn, like always have patience for the ones that you have started with, allow them to grow because same with me, like I'm improving, they're gonna improve. Like and have faith too, like that they're gonna trust in their work, trust in their craft, and have respect for you, to go and work on their craft. Because at the end of the day, you can't just keep switching up on every single producer, engineer, anything that you work with. Because bro, then you're just gonna be
What
in a hole.
what's the threshold between switching up and growth?
So for me,
What's
I
the
would say
fine
switching
line?
up. Mine is mine is I always let people know, like especially my engineer act, like wherever I go, like work wise, like I'm making sure he knows that there's gonna be a lane for him to work with me. Like I always make sure like when I negotiate anything, like I need to be able to release music with him as well on the side of whatever projects I gotta release for this person. Because one, like he's been with me for almost like 6, 7 years now. And that's just
Damn.
a relationship that started off of social media, bro. Like just organic, like being authentic, two authentic people reach out to each other,
Mm.
we chop it up. And then he lives in Toronto, so every time I'm out there, I'm always checking him. We work, and I come back here. So for me, like I would never ever like switch up. And like with that being said, to answer your question, like switching up would be like me just completely ghosting this man, like like not even blocking his number, but like he hits me, I never respond, change my number up, don't, transfer his number, like that kind of thing. Like that would just be crazy. But growth, like he knows, he understands too, like I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to be so I can work with whoever, and he trusts me enough to know that I'm not just gonna be like, I got this new producer now. Let me go and just give him all of my work. And, I'm not gonna keep you fed. It's like that would just be crazy.
Right. I think you kind of navigated that perfectly. Like the autonomy to do what you got to do when another producer comes to challenge your skill set, but also understanding that there's a patient budding relationship that I have with Act that we've built over time, and this is something that I'm not gonna let go no matter what.
Yeah.
I wish a lot of girls would take that advice. God damn it.
Bro,
There's one mistake you out. God, bro, nowadays one little thing gone. God
it's
damn, what
crazy.
happened to growth?
And people don't even really like think about this anymore, but like you have to have adversity to grow. If you don't, then
Mm,
you don't really know how this person's gonna react, this person's gonna react. Like, and trust me, like there's times where I'll tell Ak, I'm like, bro, I don't know if I can do this song because like I'll tell him afterwards, but I'm like, I don't know if I could do this song because you be pressing me to re-record this over and over again. I'm like, I swear I did it to the best of my ability the first 100 times. I can't do it 100 times more. Like I'm trying to get onto something else.
yeah.
So, just you have to have that to be able to talk to each other like that too, because he
Mm,
knows I can handle constructive criticism. If not, if we didn't have those kind of conversations, bro, like he might not ever tell me go redo it. And then next, I got a bunch of just music out there that's just, it's not quality at all. It'll
Right,
just be
right. It's
quantity.
not yeah, it doesn't really reflect the brand that you guys have built together. So
Yeah. And
I
he's like
love that,
that
bro.
with everything from the song, like the song, sound
Hmm.
quality, production to the artwork. If the artwork doesn't match, he's like, bro, go get a new picture. And I'm like, really? Like, is a picture that serious? Like,
Yes,
it's
yes,
crazy.
it is. Yes, it is. Because I think we tend to overlook like the details, right? Like that's kind of
Yeah.
like what separates you from the next artist. Like that little twist of authenticity, that little twist of organic details that, you try to put it into your work is what kind of separates you from the rest. And I think it's important to
Hmm.
kind of really lock in with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick one over here. Let me tap into your creativity because my question was going to be around when you're in a creative block, how do you get out of it? But I just kind of want to challenge that in real time. If I was to give you 30 seconds to do a freestyle, can you do it?
Yeah, I could do it. I could do it.
All right. Let me make sure. Let me make sure you're not reading off something. Let me make sure. So let me make sure. I say if you got 30 seconds, like creativity, get it out of your head. 30 seconds. You're walking into a random spot. Somebody tells you storm, go for it. 30 seconds. Let's do it.
Mm. Okay. Just give me a topic.
Topic, mantra, the theme of the show: mindfulness, fitness, and relationships. Give me bars.
Say, put myself inside their shoes. Try and be mindful, but I'm out here never trying to lose. Out here getting loose, trying not to think too much, but I don't need the booze. Step inside a room, high, I feel like a caterpillar. Stepped up out the side of cocoons. I just stuttered. He put me on the spot. Ladies love me. That's too predictable. I do this for my, for you know, that's what
Yo,
they
fuck
gonna
with
be in the
him. Fuck
comments
with
be
him,
like, he
though.
ain't got bars, bro.
No,
Man,
but
I'm not even gonna make
that's
any excuses, bro. Like, I
nah. We
want
gotta
somebody
put
to
you
be in the comments saying, "Oh, he ain't got bars," just so I could,
just
we
so
gotta
you can
start something
body
like
the
that, like I want something like that, bro.
light up a fire in you, bro. I appreciate you. I
Trust.
appreciate you. I appreciate you giving them 7, 8 bars, bro. I love it. I
Hey,
love it. To me,
for
it's
putting
like,
me
bro,
on the spot.
sometimes it gotta pop out and show, brothers.
For
Oh,
real, bro. Now you
so
know, bro. I'm a thinker, bro. So me when I'm like
yeah,
recording, I be punching a lot. Like just punching a lot of lyrics in. Starts with a mumble. Once I got that flow, then it's just punch punch and then yeah. Or if I write, bro, I'm overthinking too much. So nowadays it's
right.
just yeah. But
Nah,
it's fun though.
thank you for taking me through that creative journey of like freestyling because I've always marveled at people who can be able to do that, bro. It's a gift
Mm,
for sure.
trust.
Yeah, Big Storm. Like I think as we conclude this episode, I just want you to look back at your journey. I feel like there's a lot more I could tap into, but I don't want to take the whole evening out of you.
It's all good, bro.
When you look back at your journey, bro, like it all boils down to what? Looking back from like growing up in Toronto, Barrie, then Vancouver now, and kind of like just how life is shaping up. Like, what do you think encompasses that journey?
Honestly, this one word is discipline because like without that I probably wouldn't be making music. Like, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. My
Hmm.
platform, my branding would be so, it'll probably not even be existent because me, I'm a very like low key person. Like I probably wouldn't even have social media if it wasn't for like the need of it to promote my music, and my brand.
Right,
And like that being said, like without the discipline to keep going when you have, say no support to having support to having no support again, it's like it builds character. It really builds character, but also like I feel like I could do anything really that I want to do because I know that like nothing has stopped me like to this point and I almost said yet, but that's not ever gonna happen. Like nothing's ever stopping me from what I want to do. So at the end of the day, it's just yeah, bro. just discipline.
Bro, thanks for sharing that big time because what you said resonated, bro. Like you're not here if you're not disciplined. And
Hmm.
discipline is literally that ability to stay true to your own word. Because what are you doing
Hmm.
when the lights and the cameras are not there? Like who are you
Yeah.
when nobody's watching? That's discipline and that's character. Because a lot of people will fake that they're like this, but then when you actually get to know them, it's like, nah, you don't put in the work like that. So that belief, the confidence comes from the reps that you've done, the discipline that you've put in,
Hmm.
and you believing that your craft is going to take you from this point to the next point. And I think the one thing that kind of came into my mind before I let you go was if music was not working, what would it be outside of music?
Bro, if it wasn't music, it would still be something in the entertainment field. Like I know a lot of people talk about like things like that, but some people they have like a certain energy, and like you could feel it when you're around them, and like it's like I can't say too much because I don't want to sound conceited, but it's just certain
Right.
things that you could feel. God makes everybody a certain way for a reason, so I just
Mhm.
I just try to stay true to who I am.
Right. And that's you feel like that's entertainment for you.
Hmm. Yeah,
Nice. Nice, bro.
definitely.
That's knowing yourself right there. Some
Hmm.
people will flip flop into some other shit and like, damn, bro, what did
Trust, trust. You probably hear
bro,
some wild answers, bro.
bro, you just hit a home run to where? Like, goddamn,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. That too. Like they got hoop dreams out of nowhere, bro. Like
Goddamn, bro. How old are you? Man, it's
became
too late.
LeBron
Even
James at 40.
G League is not working, my boy.
Yeah, he's not
You
going
better
to the
try the
G.
rec. You better try the rec league somewhere, bro. Man,
But then
hey yo,
you see
I'm
them
not
in the
shitting.
wreck going hard, bro. Like they're getting drafted
Your
tomorrow.
dreams are valid, my boy. Don't listen to us. It's just banter. Your dreams are valid. We pour water on everybody's garden. We don't tear nobody down. So that's not the energy we're on this platform. So,
Thanks, man.
bro, it was a pleasure having you, bro. Where can people find you? What exciting tours do you have coming up? What exciting projects do you have coming up? Just take us through the
You
summer,
could
summer
find me
25. What you got going on?
honestly, like you could find me. Well, yeah, bro. It's about to be summertime, so we'll be outside. We'll definitely be outside. I'm gonna hit you, bro.
I don't know who's we. I'm gonna be right on this seat, doing the same thing. I don't know who's we. You speaking a whole lot of French now.
Somebody might be outside. Y'all might be outside. But I
My
got a lot of
twin.
music. I got a lot of music on the way actually. I just dropped today my new single, I Could. So
I could.
with that
Yeah,
being
shout out
said,
to you.
that's why you might see me outside a little bit because I gotta do a little bit of promo every single time I drop, bro. And like I don't like to be like in people's DMs, like just being like, "Oh, listen to my music." I find the best way, and this goes back to why I say like entertainment would be what I'd be doing is for me, the best way to really promote is just see people in person and talk to them because
Right.
like after that, that's when I'm like, oh, what do you listen to? All that stuff. And once they feel the energy, like they kind of want to be more included in whatever's going on rather than just seeing a blue follow button from a random account, being like, oh, click on this because they're not gonna listen to it. There's so many artists around the world that, send their music out. So you got to do something a little bit different. And thankfully, like, I find that's easy for me to do. So you can find me on Instagram, honestly, all social media at Storm Goring. Shit, if they can't spell storm, bro, they shouldn't. Yeah, Webster, Webster.
Webster, open that motherfucker. Cause now it's on Google. It's not the thick joint that we used to have back in the day. So it's you can it's on Google now. Webster is on Google. Now motherfucker, you put it in your backpack. That shit too heavy, bro. Like damn. Bro, that's funny
It's
as
a
hell, bro.
weapon.
But
Webster
Stone,
make
bro,
it weapon.
I appreciate you big time, bro. Definitely gonna have you back on the pod. Looking forward to new music in the summer. We will
Mm.
be outside. I was fucking with you. We will be
Yeah,
outside.
bro, lie.
um, I appreciate you. I appreciate you big time, bro.
I
Thanks
love
for
Brody.
doing this. And
Hey, thanks for having
yeah,
me.
let's link up. Let's link up one more
Yes,
time,
sir.
bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir.
already know.
Love.
All right. Have a good night, Brody. Love.